they were like, "Can you sing Sucked into a Bagel?" And that tune came out, and then they latched so hard onto it that they were like, "Sing it again."
Obviously, Everything Everywhere All at Once was your breakthrough. Came out almost 3 years ago now, I believe. It's another one where I would think, you couldn't have known when you got that role how big it would be, when you auditioned. Um, what did you what did you go into that audition thinking, and sort of, what did you imagine that it could be versus what it became?
I mean, it was similar to kind of the SpongeBob story in a way, where I met the Daniels doing an episode of an Aquafina show, Nora from Queens, on Comedy Central. I had just wrapped I had just wrapped Maisel, and I had wrapped another Broadway show called Be More Chill. And I knew Bowen. Bowen was not on SNL at the time. He was a writer for SNL, but he was not on the cast yet. And I was like, well, I know Nora from back in the day. I know Bowen. Surely there's like a fun, weird role for me to play. And my directors happened to be the Daniels. And like, from the moment we met, I fell so deeply in love with them artistically that I literally followed them out to LA. I was like, I don't know. I just want to meet more artists that
I
are
just want to be
doing
around you guys.
I just want to be your friends and make things with you. And so when they asked me to audition for, they like within a week of me getting to LA, they were like, "Hey, we're working on this movie. We think you'd be really perfect for it. Do you like movies?" I was like, "Sure. I
Yeah,
love Vimeo." I was like, "I'll do your
yeah,
Vimeo project." I had
yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
idea
yeah.
the scale of what they were doing. Um, but I think there's something really beautiful in that truly that project came from, again, like, just a deep desire to want to collaborate with people that I believe in. Um, and that to me feels like the only thing, honestly, that I can control. Like, you can never know how projects are going to be received or what the final outcome is going to be. But one thing you can do is, like, believe in people and say, like, yes, like, I will throw my weight behind what you do and, like, support you and feel supported by you.
Your audition for that movie is, of course, on YouTube, so everyone who wants to see it can see it, which must be a strange thing. Um, is it true that you improvised the "Sucked into a Bagel" tune during the audition?
It is
Can you sort
true.
of take us back to that moment, and what was going through your mind when that happened?
Man, auditioning for that role was so wild because you do enter a sort of vortex. And then, when you're totally trusting of your directors, which I was, when they say, like, "Dance monkey dance," you do.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, I'll
And
do anything.
so,
Yeah,
but you're also, like, kind of in the zone. So you're just
yeah.
like, I don't know how to describe it anyway, but you're like surfing waves. And yeah, there was just a moment, I think either Dan Kwan or Daniel Shiner, they were like, "Can you sing Sucked into a Bagel?" And that tune came out. And then they latched so hard onto it that they were like, "Sing it again." And then when we were filming on the day, it's not written as sung. And I just remember, yeah, being on set and they're like, "Can you sing that tune again?"
Yeah, I would imagine when you did that in your audition, you're like, well, this isn't actually going to be in the movie.
I mean, having worked with them once before, I was like, it really could.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, I mean, that film had just such a journey, with the cast going to all of the award shows, leading up to the Oscars, of course. What are your memories now from that Oscar night? Sort of what stands out in your mind when you think about it?
I mean, I remember as a kid watching the Oscars and pretty much not remembering most people who won or lost, whatever. But I remember sitting on the floor watching Halle Berry win, and I didn't know, I don't think I was old enough at the time to really be able to understand why that was so meaningful for me, but I know now because it was a first. And then to get to sit like front row at the Oscars watching Michelle, Key, the Daniels, all of us be there to also become firsts and but
Hmm.
get to be live in the room, that was really so life-changing in a way and very healing. It really felt like, obviously I'm talking about being Asian. It
Yeah,
felt like,
yeah,
but it felt like a moment where our history was really permanently being woven into the fabric of American cinema. And to get
yeah.
to experience that live, and be a part of it was really, really meaningful.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially thinking like I think I don't know whether it was the year before or 2 years before when Parasite won, and none of the actors were even nominated. It seemed like there was a
Yeah.
big change between that and what you guys experienced. You know, you were obviously nominated against your co-star Jamie Lee Curtis, who did win in your category.
Who
But
I
I'm sure even
love.
that must have been
For the
exciting for
record, who
you.
I
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
There's no beef, there's
Um,
only love.
yeah. No, and she was such a champion of that film, and I think she got a lot of credit for like pushing it as hard as she could for everybody the whole time.
Totally. I mean, she is like everyone's biggest cheerleader. And I remember, I mean, I think she's been in this business so long that once it started to catch fire, she knew what was happening. Like, this is like
Mm,
way before awards. She was like, something crazy is happening, which is that you have a hit and that
mm,
people love it, but people are also showing up for it. So this is like not something to sleep on. Like,
yeah,
stand in your light, you know?
yeah. How did that movie getting an Oscar nomination, you know, the success of that movie change the types of offers you got or even auditions you were able to get that maybe you couldn't have even gotten in the door before that?
I mean, I think it opened me up to the world of movies, which is like, that is, that curtain of Oz is so seemingly untouchable. And I
Mm,
have always loved movies, but didn't even like imagine that door to walk in. So I would say that that's been like the biggest gift is getting to, yeah, really be in the world of movies, which I do love and like have such there's always going to be such a sweet spot, no matter how much people start to only watch TikTok or YouTube. I love getting to be in a space with other people and experience a story. Um, so yeah, I think that would be probably the biggest change. And of course, getting to do something like Laid is a
yeah.
100% because of wins like that.
Did you really turn down the audition for Glinda in Wicked?
Do you think I would lie?
No, but I can't imagine why. I mean, you just you felt it wasn't right for you, or you didn't think
I
you
don't
were.
feel like a Glinda. I really don't.
Yeah,
Well,
you.
and Ariana is amazing. Like, literally no one else. I mean, I really mean it. Like, she's giving Lucille Ball level type of comedic performance.
It's on that performance is unreal.
It's unreal. And I cannot wait to see what happens in part two. I mean, Cynthia's also incredible, but
Yeah,
because we're talking about Glinda, I also like, I got like quirks and stuff, but I don't feel so bubbly. Like, I
yeah.
cannot imagine myself being in a bubble, like
Would
floating
you,
down
yeah.
in a bubble.
Would you have auditioned for Alphaba, or was that on the table?
I think that like those roles are so iconic. And for me, like, I just know what that requires. And I don't think I was able to serve it. And as
Yeah,
a lover of Wicked, I was like, and I saw Cynthia in her first Broadway show, and I'll never forget it. Like, it just had to be her. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And people on my team would probably be like, you need to stop doing that. But that's
yeah,
my producerial hat. That's like, it's not
yeah,
me.
yeah. I did see you sing. I think was it "I'm Not That Girl" at that concert, that Wicked concert.
Yeah, it was during COVID. It was directed by Byork Lee, who's a legend. And yeah, they just put on this special and they asked me to sing it. And I love that song. And I don't even think at the time we knew there was going to be a Wicked movie. I don't remember, but
Yeah,
um sometimes you say yes to things and you don't remember that things just float on the internet
yeah. That's still out there.
ad
Yeah,
infinitum. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I was talking about the auditions and opportunities. I was curious if, you know, being in getting that Oscar nomination, that profile opened you up to getting opportunities to play roles that don't necessarily have to be Asian. And I'm thinking about like Poker Face, Fall Guy, now Laid. You know, these are roles that anyone could play. And I'm wondering if that was a change in the opportunities that you got as well.
Definitely. Also, for the record, Mortimer Bernstein is one of my favorite characters I've ever played, specifically
Yeah,
A, because
that's
she's
Poker Face.
poker
Yeah,
face. She's so weird. I love Ryan Johnson. And also, I literally loved that her last name was Bernstein. That
yeah,
was something that I like specifically latched to. Um, but yeah, I really do hope that like the discourse around identity starts to evolve from like only ism, or
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
this is like even with Joyride, people were like, this is like the Asian bridesmaids. And I was like, can't it just be Joyride? Um, and
Yeah. No one was calling Bridesmaids the white something else, right?
yeah,
They were calling it the
exactly.
female something else, probably.
Yeah. Like maybe like the female hangover or something like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Um, which I get, like humans want something to relate it to, but I am excited for, yeah, just to get to, I mean, and that's one of my favorite things about Lade is that, she is a, female lead, a romantic lead, flawed, and race has nothing to do with it other than her last
Yeah.
name is Yao,
Hmm.
and that feels like a huge step in terms of what the fabric of storytelling looks like.